Hey, what's going on, flooring companies? Today, I've got an awesome video. I'm going to walk you through exactly step by step how you can build a foolproof, profitable marketing plan for your flooring company for this year, next year, however you want to do it. It's applicable at all times of the year, no matter where you're at in your business. So, I've got about six steps here that I want to go through with you. And these are all very, very detailed. There's some math involved too. But my hope for this video is that you can essentially just copy and paste this for your flooring company, and you can use these exact strategies, this kind of exact formula, implement this into your flooring company, and start actually getting to your goal, which is the main point. So let's dive in. Okay, so number one, let's go through that. So you got to figure out a specific goal. This is not rocket science. It's kind of common sense, but it's not incredibly difficult. It's like, yes, we've got to have a goal that we're going after. If we just build a plan without an end in mind and an actual like place that we're trying to get to, you're not going to know if the plan is successful or not. So highly recommend that you get like a specific either like revenue number, a amount of jobs or customers you want to get, an amount of appointments you want to get, which we'll get to, but more so like, hey, what is the end goal? Usually it's going to be amount of customers you want to add on, or it's going to be like, hey, I want to hit this revenue mark. So whatever it is, you can kind of apply whichever one to this. So I've got a running example that I'm just going to go through. It's just better if I just have an example. You can follow it and kind of see how I do it here. So we're going to say in this kind of example flooring company that we want 30 jobs a month, right? That is our ultimate goal that we're trying to achieve. Either for like this next year or just whenever. 30 jobs a month is what we're trying to get to. Okay, great. Now what do we do? Number two, okay, what is the gap that we're at now? Okay, so where are we at currently in the business? How many jobs are we getting right now versus how many do we want to get? We have to determine that gap because we're already at this point. We don't have to start from zero necessarily, but we're at this point. How do we get to the point that we're trying to get to? Again, not rocket science. So for example, we're going to say like we're at 15 jobs a month right now. Maybe that's you. Plug in whatever numbers apply to you here. So we're going to say, all right, we're at 15 jobs a month on average right now. But we really want to get to 30 jobs a month. So our gap is 15 jobs a month, right? So now we're going to get more and more granular. That's the idea with this. So we start out very broad, 30,000 foot view. What is the goal? Okay. This is the gap that we're figuring out now, or that we figured we have to get to. So we need 15 more extra jobs a month to achieve that goal. Okay, so 15 jobs. How do we get 15 jobs? Glad you asked. So number three, we need to determine, I won't do that yet. How many appointments will we need to get that amount of jobs, right? Everybody has a certain close rate. That's I guess to back up a little bit real quick. That's how you're actually going to get jobs, right? Is you have to either, maybe your model is you go to the home, you have a mobile flooring showroom, or like you just do estimates in the home, or you have a flooring store, an actual storefront people come to. Whatever your model is, usually, most like 99% of the time, there is a face-to-face appointment where you have to sell the person to get them to close to a job or to a customer. So, okay, how many appointments do we need? How do we determine that? First, let's determine your close rate. The close rate, that's really important because you're not going to close 100% of appointments. Maybe you do. Maybe you're just like the best salesman ever. But nobody really closes 100%. I'm choosing a pretty conservative average here from what I usually hear. I've talked to a ton of flooring companies. We work with a lot of flooring companies. This is kind of the average that I'll see. Maybe it's like 30, 35%, but just for like safe numbers, I like to go a little bit lower, just to be on the safe side. So 25%. So if you got 4 appointments, that means you're going to close one of those 4 for an actual customer, right? Okay, so we got to determine our close rate. So it's going to take you, like I said, on average 4 appointments to close that one sale, right? Let's go back here. So you will need, in this running example, 60 appointments to get those 15 sales, right? So again, we're going up to here. Our goal is we need to add on an extra 15 jobs a month so we can get to our ultimate goal of 30. So to get 15 jobs or sales, we would need 60 appointments, right? So if you have 60 appointments, you're going to close 25%. So a fourth of 60 would be 15. So again, plug in your numbers, whatever that would be. Okay, I told you we're going to have a little math involved. Hopefully it's not going to be super crazy math, but this is easily how you can determine it. You can just kind of think about how I did, but kind of the formula is, what is your gap? So if it's 15, kind of like what I, in this example here, determine whatever your gap is, amount of customers you want, and then divide it by your closing rate in decimal form. So if your closing rate is 25%, you would divide that by 0.25. If your closing rate is 50%, you would divide that by 0.5, right? So hope that makes sense. Okay, so now we've got the amount of appointments that we need. We need 60, okay? Now next, we need to generate the amount of appointments needed by determining how many leads we will need. This is really important because not every lead that you get or inquiry is not going to lead to an appointment. If you generate a lead on a social media ad or through Google or through a lead sharing website like Angie Thumbtack, something like that, not every lead you get, and when I say lead, this is like an inquiry. Somebody calls you, is interested in your services and getting a quote possibly, or a form fill, or somebody starts a chat with you on your website, that would be like a lead. It's not an appointment yet. So not every lead is going to turn into appointments. So we got to determine, okay, how many leads do we need to get that amount of appointments? Okay, so for most ad platforms or lead platforms, you can expect about a 50%. This might be generous on some platforms, but just for easy numbers, 50% lead to appointment success rate. So if you got 100 leads, 50 would book an appointment, depending on the ad platform, like I said. So again, just for easy numbers here, and you can even calculate this for yourself if you're running ads yourself or whatever you're using. Maybe just look back at your data, look back at your numbers, and be like, okay, how many leads did we get this last month or few months or year, and then how many of those turn into appointments? So you can determine that number for yourself. But just for the sake of easy numbers here, we're going to say 50% of leads you get. So you need 100 leads there, if you wanted 50. Okay, so back to our example. So to get 60 appointments, that's our example, we would need 120 leads, right? So 120 leads, 50% of that would be 60. Okay, so next question, how do we get 120 leads? So determine how you will generate that amount of leads and how much you will need to spend, right? So the platforms you can use is a plethora of them, and I've already mentioned some of them. And if you go back on my channel, look at all those, I've got a ton of different things you can do, different examples. You can use Facebook, Instagram ads, one of my favorites, Google ads, like that a lot too. TikTok ads, that's an option. It's up and coming, and you can definitely get leads from that. YouTube ads, Angie, Thumbtack, kind of your lead sharing platforms. Now there's a couple other ones like Home Advisor, CraftJack. There's some other ones. Yelp, that can be good too, depending on the business. And there's some other ones too. There's Nextdoor, Facebook groups. I'm specifically talking about like stuff you're paying for, not referrals, not word of mouth, not like referral programs you may have. This is like, hey, we're paying for a certain amount of spend or ads or a certain platform. How much do we spend to get that amount of leads so we can hit our goal? Okay, so I'm gonna go with the example of Facebook, Instagram ads. Again, you can use whatever example you want. This is one of my favorites. Like if you're wanting to scale and grow, Google ads would be probably number 2 from that. And then I've seen Yelp work really well for some people, and I've seen Angie Thumbtack work really well. Just kind of depends on the business. I'm not going to go super in depth with the different platforms. I've got tons of other videos on that you can look at. Just trying to help you get a picture of, hey, how do I achieve a goal? How do I build a marketing plan? So pick your platform or platforms. Let's say we're going to use Facebook, Instagram ads. Okay. So example, like lead cost on Facebook, Instagram is on average going to be like $30. So most times this would be like a form fill, like a form submission. You can do like a messenger lead. You can do a lead on your website. I like to do form fills, makes it really, really simple. So the lead cost on there is going to be $30 on average. So in our example, if we want to generate 120 leads, right, to get 60 appointments, you would need to spend about $3,600 in ads. Okay, how did I get that? So I multiplied the amount of leads we need times the average lead cost, right? So 120 times 30, I think I did that math right, is 3,600 in ads. And this is give or take, more or less, right? It's not going to be exact, but based off the averages that we see and all the flooring companies that we work with and the data that we have, it's on average $30. Sometimes higher, sometimes lower, depending on the market and the offer and all of that. So 120 leads, $3,600 in ads, and you're going to get very, very close to your goal. So, okay, let's tie it all together here. All right, so to reach our ultimate goal of 15 extra jobs a month, right? That's the gap, so that we can get to 30 total. We would need to spend about $3,600 in ads on Facebook, Instagram. So this is what we're looking at here. 120 leads is the front end metric we're trying to achieve. That would get us about 60 appointments, which would get us about 15 jobs, right? So that kind of puts the bow on it. We're tying that together. So it's not as crazy hard as you might think to build a marketing plan like for your flooring company. It's got to start with a goal in mind. And you can even start with a revenue goal if you want. This is kind of a little bonus here, but like if your goal is, let's say, let's say our gap. Let's go to gap. Let's say I want to add on an extra $50K a month in revenue. Let's say, then you have to determine your average ticket. Average ticket meaning how much is one customer usually worth to you on average. Obviously, job size is dependent on that. Not every job is the same. I get that. Just get an average. Usually we'll see like 4 to 5K. Let's call it, the average flooring customer is going to be 5K. It could be 3 for you. It could be 7. We'll say 5. So you do 50K divided by 5,000, right? That'd be 10 jobs. That's another way you can determine how many jobs you need or how many customers you need. So get the revenue divided by the average ticket value, and you have your amount of jobs, right? So that's one way you can get it as well. So you can either just say, hey, I want this amount of jobs, or you can either start with the revenue mark and then determine how many jobs you need. Ultimately, you do need to get down to this this mark here of like an amount of jobs or customers, because then you have to determine how many appointments and leads you need, right? Okay, so hope this was helpful. Let me know in maybe the comments, or you can shoot me an email, whatever, if you have any more questions on this, on maybe just if you want to get more in depth with it. But that's just a quick example. Don't let this overwhelm you. I know I use a lot of math here and stuff, but it's a lot simpler than you might think to build out a plan and actually get to your goal. So hope this helps. Let me know if you need any more help. And yeah, see you in the next video.